Hey guys, we are streaming now. I went ahead and started early because, I'm here, Joel's here, my call screener is here, and you guys are here. Not everybody's here, so I'm not going to get into the show yet, but I wanted to just start early because, and I don't have news to read. Normally I read a few minutes of news before the show starts on Sundays, kind of like how I do it with the Jesse Lee Peterson show. But I don't have any news updates for you. But I'll talk a little bit about this thumbnail that I have that's up that you are looking at. It's a picture not related, and if you're listening to the show, some of you listen to the podcast afterwards, and you may not see the thumbnail, although I do put it up on the SoundCloud. It doesn't necessarily populate iTunes, which is better known as Apple Podcasts now. But I have this photograph up, not of El Paso, not of Dayton, Ohio, because that's what I'm going to be talking about later, but of the mountains, because I was up in the mountains, and I took a picture. I'm like, hey, that's a nice shot. And I like putting up nice shots that I take. Hey, I have a platform, might as well share my beautiful photography. Taken on iPhone 7 Plus. And I have some announcements for you guys, too, before we get started. We have the Men's History Month Free Speech Forum this Thursday. Boom. Men's History Month Free Speech Forum. If you want to zoom in on that, you can. Yeah, so here, let me show my face while I show this beautiful picture. Bond presents the Men's History Month Free Speech Forum this coming Thursday. That's August 8th. Can you believe it? And it'll be 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Good luck ending on time. We may go a little over. We'll see. But you do have to RSVP. It is open for men and women. Go to jesseleepeterson.com. You can also go to rebuildingtheman.com/events. We had an excellent men's forum on Thursday, by the way. But we have Will Witt. He will be there. Stephen Bunnell II, also known as Destiny. Brendio EEEE, the incel, or the volcel, I don't know. Jesse Lee Peterson, of course. Bentley Fierro, I don't know much about him, but he's a businessman, actor, and mentor, I believe. Brandon Tatum, I think he's a millennial, actually. He is oh man, I'm coming out of the screen. He is a former cop, founder of Blexit. And so we're going to be talking about big tech censorship. It was funny hearing Jesse Lee Peterson say the words big tech censorship. Free speech, border crisis, Trump versus the squad, the female Democrat congresswomen of color. Oh, I hear you guys calling in. See you guys calling in. And of course, the border crisis. I think I mentioned that. The 2020 election and more. So I keep on drifting off screen. There I am. Because it's kind of like looking in a mirror, but you're not looking in the mirror because it's not a mirror image. It's an image of me the way I am. So I have to move this way to move that way. It's weird. So make sure you go. And we're coming on 9 a.m. So I think we'll go ahead and get started. But appreciate you guys joining. And I am streaming on YouTube. I don't think I'm streaming on Facebook because they're censoring me based on Jesse's so-called hate speech, which is not hate speech. And I'm streaming on Periscope. Let me pull these up so that I have a good chance of seeing all the chats. D Live, shout out to D Live, excellent platform, excellent alternative to YouTube if you don't want to go on YouTube. You can send super chats to Jesse and to me via D Live. You can also send super chats via Streamlabs on Jesse's channel. You can do it to me too. I got to get better at all that stuff. But also on Mixer, there's a streamer called Mixer. It's called Ninja, and he's going to be streaming on Mixer instead of Twitch. So hopefully Mixer gets big because Jesse's already there on Mixer. Join him there. Might as well follow him, right? Because, hey, you never know what happens. And what else? Periscope, YouTube, not Facebook, Periscope, D Live, Mixer, Twitch. I'm on twitch.tv/The Hake Report. And of course, I think I've mentioned them all. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get started with the show. morning, guys, I'm going to be talking about how evil people use evil events to bring about more evil. And President Trump is not one of them, thank God. And I'm glad that he's president during these times. Some terrible mass shootings happened just this weekend.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
So, isn't it nice to little change up to bring AJ's original version of my AJ Gallardo's original version, 10 Fingers, 11 Toes, of the Hake Report theme song on Sundays. And then Monday through Friday, we play Trevor Wesley's reprise. Shout out to both of those guys. They don't necessarily agree with me on this, but they did an excellent job for me. And I recommend them to you if you want your own theme song. So I'm going to get to your calls. I appreciate you guys calling in already, and I will get to them. But I wanted to present a little bit about this deluded El Paso Walmart killer. And I'll just briefly mention the Dayton, Ohio killer, only because I don't know much about what happened in Dayton, Ohio, other than that in El Paso, about 20 people were killed, at least, and 26 injured or so in a Walmart in El Paso. White man, apparently. Terrorist attack. And then in Dayton, Ohio, 10 people were killed in another mass shooting. The guy reportedly, I heard that it was a white man, according to Sherrod Brown, who's a politician from the area, that he heard it from somebody else. And reportedly, according to Fox News, he was wearing body armor, but he was killed within a minute of opening fire. So thank God for that. The cops killed him. That was in Dayton, Ohio, which is Maze's town. And so hopefully we hear from Maze. I don't think she would be in the bars. She doesn't seem like a bar woman. So I'm sure she's fine, but it would be nice to hear from her. A lot of stuff happens in Dayton lately. Crazy. A lot of corruption, and now even more. So, but we don't know I don't know the motive of the Dayton, Ohio killer who killed 10 people, injured 27, I think is the updated numbers from the mayor. White female mayor, by the way. I have a picture of her, of Dayton, Ohio. This is really all I have. Mayor Nan Whaley. City of Dayton mayor. I was watching a press conference. I'm like, whoa, I didn't know that. I saw the name Nan Whaley, but I didn't connect that it was a woman, much less a white woman. But there you have it. But of the El Paso, Texas mass shooting, terror attack on the Walmart over there, allegedly the shooter left a manifesto. And I think there's some censorship going on of this manifesto in which he lays out his so-called reasons for committing this act where he killed a bunch of people. And total dumb, idiot, deluded stuff. Some of what he said happens to be factual, but a lot of it is ridiculous. He arrives at crazy conclusions. And of course, what he did, responding to evil with even more evil. What an idiot. I saw headlines, 20 people were killed in El Paso, Texas, the Walmart, including a 4-month-old baby or something. Well, I don't think the 4-month-old baby was injured, but we'll see we'll see who pulls through. The suspect is a 21-year-old male, apparently white, Patrick Crucius, which seems to be a German last name, although there is a Brazilian politician with that last name, but Germans went to Brazil or South America. And I heard the El Paso Killer's manifesto. Shout out to one of my haters on my comment section on YouTube, because one of my haters said, "You and Jesse are responsible for this," meaning Jesse Lee Peterson. Basically, is what he was trying to say, and then he linked a YouTube video in which an account owned by apparently a I was about to say Hispanic, by a Vietnamese sounding name, had read the manifesto out loud on a YouTube video. That was it. And it got taken down. But not before I watched it. And Drudge has it posted too on drudgereport.com. But he sympathized with the eco-fascist Christchurch killer. Christchurch, New Zealand, where the white man from Australia came over and targeted Muslim mosques. For some reason, there are mosques in a city called Christchurch, New Zealand. And so he blamed the Muslims for overpopulating New Zealand and contributing to so-called global warming and, environmental destruction. Because these people believe the hype about man-made climate change. And so did this El Paso killer. And his manifesto was titled An Inconvenient Truth, or something like that, which is an apparent reference to former Vice President under Bill Clinton, Al Gore's propaganda documentary about so-called man-made climate change. Alarmism. Pushing alarmism. And it got under this guy's skin. So both the El Paso and Christchurch shootings blamed immigrants for making too many babies, because this El Paso guy blamed the Mexicans or the Hispanics. And he wanted to kill as many Mexicans as possible. And as if there is such a thing as overpopulation, and as if it's not whites' fault for not having enough babies. So, and he's, this environmental crap. Environmentalists are nutcases. And he did make some factual references to Democrats and Republicans, that Democrats are all for mass immigration, both legal and illegal. And Republicans, half of them are for really both. Maybe more of them than that. And then but they are divided. But Republicans, he said, will not win because all the Mexicans are not typically Republican voters. They're typically Democrat voters. And he had no faith, basically. He thinks that he can predict the future. Kind of like one of my callers who thought that Trump is not going to be able to build the wall because he's running into opposition, even though he's doing everything that a president can and should do in order to get the wall done. There are some doubters that think that they can predict the future. And so this guy thought that he can predict the future by saying, America's gone, unless we really use our Second Amendment to commit evil and mass murder. What an idiot. I think in his mind, he was thinking that he was going to scare the illegals to go back home or something. And he also seemed to justify killing innocent people. Because he said that the government does it with over nothing. And so he pointed out the government has done the same thing, supposedly, in wars that he apparently frowns upon. So he became what he hated, total hypocrite, right? Justifying one evil, which he agrees is evil, by doing the same thing himself. And he specifically promoted, just like ISIS does, going after soft targets, ducks in a barrel type situations where there are defenseless people, unarmed, just like other terrorists do, including Dylan Roof. Dylan Roof thought about going after black drug dealers, but he's like, nah, they shoot back. So he went into a black church. Al-Qaeda and ISIS, same thing. And I wonder if some of you are thinking that this was a false flag, meaning like it didn't really happen, or he was hired to do it, or I don't know. I don't know what you guys think. But that's what he did. He specifically encouraged other people to do the same thing. So he's become just like ISIS. He probably hates ISIS, but he's just like them. Like I said, this YouTube video that I saw I listened to it really, of the manifesto got taken down, and I listened to the whole thing. I commented, thanks for reading it so I don't have to, because I'm not a reader and I don't enjoy reading crap by intellectuals. The alleged killer was deluded, but the video is taken down, and so I think that these liberals, meaning YouTube and all them, they engage in this censorship thinking that will diminish the encouragement of copycat crimes or something. I don't know what they're thinking, but just show evil for what it is and then show how to overcome it, I guess. But my thing is expect evil people to use evil for evil, because this act will be exploited by the other side of the evil. The people pretending to care about innocent lives, the liberals, they want to take away the gun rights and all that nonsense. So that's basically all I have to say about that. Hopefully that was enlightening. Let me get to some calls. Jason, out of Orange County, I think, California. Jason, how are you?
Hey, how are you doing?
All right. Is it Orange County, California, or Orange County, Florida?
No, Orange County, California.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. What I wanted to call in about, you pretty much covered just now, about how it makes me sick how the media is covering the shootings, because they don't even know all the facts yet. I mean, the shootings just happened a couple of days ago, but they're so quick to start saying white supremacists, this, white supremacist that.
The killer predicted that they would call him that. He was against race mixing and stuff. And his reasoning for being against race mixing was it diminishes the diversity of the gene pool across the world, as if he has a stake in that. So dumb. But anyways, yeah, it's predictable.
Yeah.
They're going to go after the white
Right.
people and the men and the Christians and the gun owners, lawful gun owners. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that it's right what happened. I'm just saying that can we at least wait till all the facts come in? These people don't even want to wait for the evidence to come in. At least wait like a couple of days or at least a week.
Yeah.
Even the police say, some police are saying, like, look, calm down, let due process and just let all the facts come in. But no, liberals just use this to push their sick agendas, and it's so sickening.
Yeah. Yeah, they really don't care about these people. They care about pushing their ideology that they have an ego attachment to. So it's just boosts them. They actually love it when this happens. They love when... And I saw a video of Beto O'Rourke breaking down a little bit, almost crying.
I know.
He was from El Paso. But it's really irrelevant, the emotions of it.
It's like, what do we need, Beto? You crying or someone doing something about it?
Yeah, and then
gonna solve this.
And then I saw Cory Booker, of course, saying he gave lip service to the fact that black on black murders are happening constantly in Newark, New Jersey, where he's from, and he gave lip service to pretending to care about it, and then he mentioned and he blamed the NRA and gun rights, going after the Second Amendment. He's so intense and fake. And so that's what I'm referring to when I talk about evil people using evil for evil. And then there's other people that are going to be inspired by this stuff, because the Christchurch, New Zealand killer, that's two people that have been inspired by that guy. Inspired. Stupid.
Yeah, I'm glad you can see that, James, and that's pretty much all I had.
Right on, man.
If you noticed that as well.
Yeah. I'm glad that you brought that out to the front, because they do use it to go after, claim white supremacy, blame conservatives, blame the Second Amendment supporters. I don't know that any NRA supporter or member has ever committed any of these attacks. And even if they did, it's not an argument against the NRA or the Second Amendment. If anything, it's an argument for arming up in Walmart and everywhere else, because as the evil grows, you have to build up your defenses. It's like the militarization of the police. The militarization of the police is a result of the militarization of these cartels, these gangs, and scumbags like this that thinks he's right for bringing trouble on the rest of us over him, murdering a bunch of people.
And then, James, one more quick thing, like Hispanic people and people of color in general, really, they're so demoralized already that they won't even look into it. They'll just hear they'll just see something on Facebook, they'll just read a headline, and they'll just take it as truth. That's what's more scary, too. These people don't want to look into it. They don't care about the facts.
Right. Yep, that's so true.
That's what's so scary.
They're just, but
that's all I had, James.
that's why it's good that a good guy like a good man like President Trump, speaking of Men's History Month, is there in the forefront to make headlines-making statements. And people will, even when it's cast in negative light, some people will be like, you know what, he's actually right about that. So that's good. And I'm going to read some of Trump's tweets about this. Thanks, Jason. Nice to hear from you.
Thanks, James. Have a good one.
Happy Men's History Month, by the way. Let me get to Javier, I think, out of Missouri, and then I will read Trump's tweets about this. Javier, is that your name?
Hey, it certainly is.
Hey, nice to hear from you, man.
Pleasure. Happy Men's History Month, James.
Thank you.
All right. So I kind of called to talk about how we're having the immigration and refugee problem at the southern border, right?
Yeah.
And they're all claiming asylum.
Yep. So many of them, anyway. The ones that get caught.
Many. Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah.
So actually, my father is a refugee from Cuba. Right?
Wow, okay.
And it's kind of unfortunate the way that it happened, because while he was in Cuba in his teenage years, him and a group of his thugs thought that they were going to break into some man's house, and they got caught. And then the man tried to defend himself, and they all murdered him together.
Whoa.
Machetes, the whole lot, right?
This is your dad involved in this murder?
My father.
Whoa.
Yes, my father was part of this. I think they were about 17 years old, 18 years old.
And that is down in Cuba that happened?
It was in Cuba, yes. And then they went to prison.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I don't know if you recall or remember the Mariel boat lift during the late 70s, early 80s.
Okay.
There's a bunch of refugees. Fidel Castro told everyone, if you want to go to America, go.
Yeah.
They started sending boatloads. And then our current president said, okay, just send them over, we'll take them, and we'll stop.
And a lot of them were criminals?
People, they were from mental institutions and prisons. And one of those men were my father.
Wow.
So he got a refugee status in America.
How long had he been in prison? How long after that? I mean, how old was he?
He was probably about 17, and then at the time that happened, he was somewhere around 19 or 20, something like that.
Man.
Then he got released into America. You know what he did with the rest of his life in America?
No.
Take one wild guess. One wild guess.
Made babies and committed more crimes?
That's exactly what happened. And then so the last 30 of his years in America, he has spent in prison.
He's still living?
Well, he's recently got out of prison, whatever. That's not what I'm talking about. But
yeah.
He spent his whole life in America in prison after being released as a prisoner in Cuba. So when Trump says they're not sending their best, he is not lying.
Yeah. Yeah, these people are
try to get rid of them.
There is such evil going on. Whose idea, which president did that? Was that Carter or was that Ford or who?
I think it was Carter. I'm not certain at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm not too caught up on the presidents and their times and all
yeah.
this, but it's quite unfortunate, though, that we allow these people to just be set free in our country and run amok, and then they just do the same thing they did in their country.
Yeah.
They're trying to bring us down.
Yep.
You know, though I am of Cuban descent, I am more grateful to be American than anything ever.
So you were born out of wedlock?
I was definitely born out of wedlock.
Man, that's wild. That's a wild story.
Yeah, but the whole thing is, like, my father, he has been released from prison. I think he's in his 50s now, and I kind of went along with what Jesse said, and I've forgiven my parents. And
you talked to them?
It's a good thing, man.
You talked to your father, too?
Yeah, man, I've forgiven him. I've forgiven my mother for raising me in the image of a woman.
Yeah.
For the resentment that I had, and I've forgiven my father, and now I talk to him regularly, and I think my father has kind of grown out of it, and I feel almost in a way that my forgiveness toward him has kind of helped him to grow better, too.
Wow.
So it's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah, that is. That's a really nice report.
In a way, though, I still think we shouldn't be taking all these people that just claim refugee status.
Yep.
It's not safe for our country, and
yeah.
They're not always good people, as we know.
And it's so ridiculous that we just let them stay here and then over the course of years they have their hearings, or they don't even go to their hearings, and they just it's such crap. It's so insane, and I'm glad that President Trump is kind of exposing it to all of us what's really happening.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm glad he's cutting off, doing that third-party country thing too. That's a really good thing.
Yeah, so they're staying in Guatemala now. Like they were going to, and then they weren't going to, and now they are. But yeah, I'm glad that they're being forced to wait in Mexico, wait in Guatemala, or appeal to be refugees in Guatemala or Mexico.
Yeah, now those other countries get to feel the burden that we've felt on our border this whole while all of our citizens are calling us murderers and claiming concentration camps and all this. Like, what do they expect us to do with this overflow of people?
That was the reason for President Trump's criticism of Elijah Cummings, is how it came about. Elijah Cummings was going after, he's like, look at Elijah Cummings attacking our fine border patrol. Meanwhile, his district is a mess. Or, the city of Baltimore is a total mess. It's like at maybe an all-time low point. Maybe not in terms of murder because the crack epidemic was really bad, but rat-infested and all that stuff. And the people agree with him over there. People of Baltimore agree with...
Right then, too.
Yeah, his house had just gotten robbed the night before, hours before.
That messed up.
Yeah.
And I saw a report, like, where some news, I don't remember which news, I think it was, like, ABC, somewhere around the area, and they're like, oh, President Trump is criticizing our city, saying it's rat-infested. In the background, a rat scurries by.
Yeah.
So hilarious.
He's not criticizing the people of this. Well, I mean, in actuality, he probably should criticize the people of the cities for being for not cleaning up their own city, because you can clean up your own city. And you don't have to vote for these people that don't care about you, that don't care about what's right.
Most people don't understand. They're brainwashed, and they think they need to vote a certain way because the Democrats protect the minorities, when in all actuality, they're just crooked and take the money and spend it in ways that it shouldn't be spent.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate for the citizens.
How did you hear about Jesse?
I've been listening. I saw him probably first, just like many people, on the Savage Moments quite a while back.
Okay.
I started watching you and him both probably about 5 months ago.
Yeah.
No, I don't watch. I listen because I work. This is probably my only real chance to call in on the weekend, so
cool.
I'm thankful to have your show around. That's nice.
Yeah, me too. I feel that this has been helpful for people that do work during the week to be able to call in and get a hold of us.
Yeah, it's awesome. Your show is actually the only one I can listen to live every day on JLP.
Oh, nice.
Talk, so
right on.
Pretty cool.
Appreciate it, Javier. Great call.
Yeah, thanks, man.
All right, happy Men's History Month to you.
You too, buddy. Take care.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Mike out of San Diego, California. How are you? Shout out to Get a Job, by the way, for the Savage Moments. Spreading the good word.
Oh, what's up?
Hey.
Jay. Hey, it's Mike in San Diego.
Good to hear from you, man.
Hey, buddy. Good morning.
Yeah.
Yo, so I wanted to jump into, maybe like a opinion or just reference those shootings yesterday. Last time you and I talked, I asked you if you thought a civil war might be coming.
Yeah.
To America. And I mean, dude, this is to me is exactly the type of thing that I think we're going to see if, in fact, we are heading toward a civil war. We're going to see a ramp up in this type of stuff happening more and more often.
Yeah.
And like, to me, this is an indicator that maybe we are on our way, because I think the effect will be more and more polarization on both sides, because, like, as we're already seeing, it's like people on the media just reacting and wanting to blame people on the right and blame anybody who wants to own a gun and want to take the guns away and just ramp up the anger against people who have guns. And then on the other side, people are going to be saying, well, yeah, but what about, it's terrible what he did, but what about the fact that, like, well, would this type of thing be happening if we hadn't imported millions and millions of people from Mexico over the last few decades?
Yeah.
If we hadn't watched our country get, like, super degenerated by people on the left who are pushing all sorts of, like, dumbing down policies and things like that. So there's a lot of people angry on the right who do own guns, and there's a lot of people on the left who just, it's like they start wringing their hands together. They love it when this type of thing happens because now they can just go 24 hours a day on hating people on the right. And so it's like, I don't know, man. It's gonna get pretty gnarly. Seems like it's gonna get worse before it gets better. But I don't know. What do you think about that?
I think you're right. They're increasing the division. You know, the reaction by the media and the liberals and whoever else, rhinos, increase the division by being weak and by attacking the innocent people over the actions of the evil one, the one who committed the crime allegedly, and it is. This is the type of thing kind of that happened during the slavery times where there's people thinking that they're all self-righteous and they go in and try to free slaves or something like that and commit crimes and murder a bunch of people. I've heard stuff like that happening. I don't know if the civil war is coming or not. I still don't really think so. But it's good that we have a president who is setting an example of unity, and goodness, manhood, where we really didn't have that before. And then there's a whole lot of us waking up to the madness and not responding in kind to the hate that we receive. And so that's really good because there's a lot of hatred towards whites and a lot of whites are responding in hatred. Yes. But there's a lot of whites waking up, not responding in hatred. And there's a lot of coloreds, if I can use that word. This Cuban guy that I just hung up with, well, Anchor Baby, Javier from Missouri, he woke up, forgave his dad, and that is really powerful. And that's something that this boy, this 21-year-old terrorist, did not calculate. He fell for the doom and gloom, looking at the facts, getting hung up on thinking that he can predict the future, that America cannot be recovered. Who knows? But that's not your problem. Your problem is yourself and how you act.
Did you happen to when the New Zealand shooter wrote his manifesto? Did you look into that and read what he had written?
I don't think I did. I heard bits and pieces. I knew that he was upset about like I mentioned, the Muslims overpopulating and contributing to global warming. And I knew that he's like, oh yeah, go ahead and label me white supremacist. I don't care. Label me a Trump supporter. I don't care. Like he wanted to increase the attack on gun owners in order for them to break out into civil war. He wanted that. He wanted a race war. He wanted a civil war. Just kind of like what Dylan Roof wanted, but this Christchurch guy was, and you know what's funny? Just a side note. I don't know if it's funny, but this guy who wrote this manifesto that came out yesterday, allegedly, he was predicting that he was going to get himself killed because he didn't want to face the hatred of his disappointing his family and getting the death penalty, which would be terrible. And so he said, if they capture me, it'll be because of some reason that, I ran out of ammo or something. And I just wonder what really happened because I don't know. I think these people talk big, but then they're cowards.
It's a pretty gnarly situation to be in. I can't even imagine what that would be like.
Yeah.
Just be so terrifying.
Yep.
But the New Zealand guy, you were hit the nail right on the head. He's like wanting to escalate the time frame, and from his perspective, it's like if we don't have any type of forceful pushback, like if it doesn't come down to a war where we fight back, because we haven't been fighting back.
Yeah. Yeah,
like when the left goes too far and when they do things that we shouldn't be allowing them to do, we haven't been punishing them.
Right.
We haven't been pushing back and giving them limits and making them feel the pain of going too far.
Yeah.
We've just been nice. They just keep going. And they've gone way too far already, like really far, and there's no sign of them slowing down.
Yeah.
So this guy's perspective is like, well, I've got to go ahead and basically like throw myself onto the train tracks here to get the train to stop. And that's why he did what he did.
Yeah.
And I'm not making him a hero or something. That's just his reasoning behind it. And he's like, if I go do this thing, it's going to speed up them going even further to try to take our guns away, and that's when we're finally going to fight it out. And when we fight it out, if you run the numbers, those of the right is going to win. Like, as soon as it comes down to a civil war, we win, like, immediately. There's no way the left could win against us. They only win because we don't push back. They only win because they, like, lie and cheat and steal, but they don't actually have any power. We have all the power. The people do. And as soon as the people fight back, we win, like, we just completely win.
I don't know if I don't know if that's true, man. Because we haven't been fighting back in the right way. And so if we so-called win that, we lose anyways, because we have not, I'm saying we in the broad sense, most of us have not been fighting back in the right way, like what you just said. We've been allowing evil to continue. And it's so ridiculous the way that whites think. I'm not referring to you specifically. I'm talking about, I hear this where, like, just wait until whites get really mad and then they're going to really fight back. But they're fighting back in the wrong way, just like what this guy did. And that just means evil wins. It's not worth waiting around and then committing insane crimes like this.
I bet we agree, but I don't know what you mean yet. Like, what you keep saying the wrong way, and you say if you fight that way, evil wins. Well, what's the right way, and what makes fighting evil?
Trump is fighting in the right way. All of these whites that are allowing this to happen, not speaking up, not going after the small things, not, I don't know. Trump is an example of somebody who's fighting back in the right way. Jesse is an example of somebody who's fighting evil in the right way. Because all these, look at how the whites have done. They've just turned into weak mush, like, it's like a white version of blacks, where they're falling into crimes and sex out of wedlock, no kids, and complaining about what's going, the attack on them, complaining about what's going on, if not just turning liberal, joining the self-destruction. But either way, it's self-destruction. Because you don't wait until stuff gets to fighting situation to fight back. You fight back against evil by, like, not allowing people to litter. There's this old school man type of situation where men wouldn't allow any type of mess, but now people are just so nice, and then they'll complain about it amongst themselves, but they won't be forceful to push for what's right. They won't shame people. They're falling themselves to evil, to pornography, to sex out of wedlock, to pot, to all this madness. And then they just, they still vote conservative, or they still call themselves Christians, but in reality they're not powerful. They're not, they're just weak. And this is rampant. And that's why I don't have any faith in any civil war having any good outcome. I don't know what the outcome of a civil war would be, because there's a whole lot. Most people are evil, conservative or liberal.
I have that same feeling. Like, even if, let's say, like I'm saying, we were to win, quote unquote. Like, if we were to, like, if there was to be a total split between two sides and our side overcame the other side, and we call that a win, I still don't know, like, where would we even be, though, at that point? Because we would have just, if the right has victory over the left, and let's say we take over the government.
Honestly, man.
And then what, though? Like, was it just the utter chaos after that,
Yes, because I don't really see it. I mean, this is all conjecture. We don't know what's going to happen. So it's kind of a waste of time, really, a little bit. It's mildly interesting, but beyond just what we've talked about, it's really a waste of time to think about, because we don't know what the future holds. We just deal with what's happening now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
I appreciate it, Mike.
Nope. You want to let it go? All right, bro. I'll talk to you later.
All right, take care. Let me read some super chats. Soul Conscious says, shout out to the Hake Report. La, la, la. Thank you. Jimmy Morgan, good morning, Hake. Spoiler alert. Scott Matthew, or whatever. Happy Men's History Month. August is so manly. Sion Desta says, I wish Earl could call into your show. He's scared. Smoking on it. Thank you. Smoking on it says, for Javier, it was President Jimmy Carter who allowed the Cuban refugee criminals to come in. But hey, you became an anchor baby. Some good can come out after evil. Kind of like probably maybe sometimes slavery was evil. And then but the blacks get to be here. And some of them are good people. So let me read Trump's tweets. Joel, you think you have some of these. Trump tweeted, let me read the first one about this, after this El Paso thing. He said, today's shooting in El Paso, Texas was not only tragic, it was an act of cowardice. I know that I stand with everyone in this country to condemn today's hateful act. There are no reasons or excuses that will ever justify killing innocent people. Melania and I send our heartfelt thoughts and prayers to the great people of Texas. Right on, Mr. Trump, President Trump. And then he said, after this other thing this morning, early after the Dayton shooting too, the FBI, local and state law enforcement are working together in El Paso and Dayton, Ohio. Information is rapidly being accumulated in Dayton. Much has already been learned in El Paso. Law enforcement was very rapid in both instances. Updates will be given throughout the day. So you'll find out what happened. God bless the people of El Paso, Texas. God bless the people of Dayton, Ohio. Right on, Mr. President. Not like Cory Booker. Cheap people. Anyways, you can call in 888-775-3773. Intellectualism is evil. And that guy was the guy who, I mean, if this manifesto turns out to be true, you know, that it really was from the suspect in the killing who was captured, not killed, then that was an intellectual, evil, emotional act. And intellectuals are easily deceived. And I see it in the chat. I see it in the calls to the radio shows, Jesse's and mine. I see it in my life with my family and friends. And even when because I tend to be kind of intellectual too. Intellectualism is the same thing as emotionalism. So you guys that want to get into like the Bible and argue about the Bible, or you want to get into your facts and argue about the facts, which is not truth, it's not wise to get into that. Intellectuals obsess over the stuff that they learn, and they want to learn more and more and more. And their thoughts are directed by their emotions, and then their emotions are directed by their thoughts, and it's a vicious circle that never ends. And that's that guy. He's one of y'all. And by the way, President Trump's harsh words are very good. President Trump sometimes says stuff about people that some take offense to, and I just don't get emotional about his words. People get so upset over true statements and legitimate criticisms that he has for all sorts of people, by the way. Not just POCs, not just women, not just whatever. He attacks all people based on how they are and what they are, and it's aimed towards bringing unity and love for the country and for what's right. When he went after Colin Kaepernick, it was aimed at uniting and loving America, because Colin Kaepernick was denigrating the cops and denigrating the white people. Colin Kaepernick being the guy who kneeled for the anthem. He was I'm not going to stand up and show respect for a flag in a country that oppresses black people and people of color. So said Colin Kaepernick. And President Trump tweeted, wouldn't it be nice if you saw one of these NFL owners say, get that SOB off the field right now. Out. He's fired. Fired. Isn't that nice? And his whole thing is you respect America. You don't disrespect the country and its people based on your fake notion that, oh, police brutality, racism. Stupid. And when he went after the Democrat congresswomen of color, these progressive Democrat congresswomen, quote unquote progressive, right? Why don't they go back to their own country? That's about uniting the country, about loving the country. These people hate on America. They hate on, enforcing our laws against the illegal aliens and all these people trying to take advantage of our free stuff and our opportunities. Meanwhile, normal people are dealing with less than, the joblessness is kind of a problem. And they've been taught to go after college and career and go ahead and get on unemployment and welfare and stuff like that. So they're not suffering that much. And so they end up siding with, the Americans, the brainwashed Americans ends up siding with the illegals and the Democrats against the president who's really looking out for them. Such a shame. And when President Trump told the truth about Charlottesville, what about the alt-left? Because the media likes to ignore the evil attacks on Trump supporters and whites and, yes, the alt-right and the Proud Boys and all those people. Patriot Prayer and all that. And militia. The militia was there to try to keep peace and order. They weren't there to take sides in Charlottesville. But they got attacked. Meanwhile, they didn't attack the Antifa. I didn't even see in the mainstream media the fact that Antifa were hitting that boy's car who ended up killing Heather Heyer in Charlottesville. They never pointed out that fact. I only saw it in YouTube videos, and you can plainly see Antifa hitting his car before he went crazy and turned down that road and plowed into those people. Freaked out. And now he's convicted. They like to point out when the right do wrong and ignore when the left do wrong, when the left is doing the most wrong. And then the whites and the right are falling for the trap of the anger and the demonization. They're reacting negatively to the demonization to where they end up becoming what they're accused of being. You're like, you're going to call me this? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and be this. Not wise. So every time you look at what President Trump is getting at when he says these things that some people think are sketchy or mean, he's pushing for unity. He's setting the record straight, defending himself properly, and he's encouraging love for the country and the people that serve it, the military, the police, the border patrol. And so it's comforting that he's there. Rush, out of Virginia. Rush, how are you? Is it Rush or Russ?
Russ with 2 S.
Oh, hey.
How you doing?
Fine. Nice to hear from you. Long time.
Yeah, it has been.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to ask you about Trump.
Okay.
First of all, I'm not a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
But I'm not to the extent to where I think that they should impeach him. I think he won, let him ride out his 4 years, and then we move on from there.
Are you going to vote for him next?
Excuse me?
Are you going to vote for him next election? Possibly?
I didn't vote for him the first time. No, I'm not going to vote for him.
Did you vote for Hillary?
I didn't vote for Trump. Anyway, so my question to you is, Trump has a track record of lying.
No, he doesn't.
And I know that you are a Trump supporter. Do you discount that, or?
He does not have a track record of lying. You know, the people that accuse him of lying are the biggest liars. Washington Post, CNN, they're ridiculous. So, what has he lied about? In your mind?
Okay, well, and this is a non-issue.
He has a track record of telling the truth. The truth that nobody else will tell.
Okay, so this is a non-issue to me, because to me it doesn't make sense to lie about this, because it doesn't make. I mean, it's not a big issue.
Okay.
But he called Meghan Markle a nasty woman, and when he was questioned about it, he said, "No, I didn't say that." When it's on tape and you can hear him say it, that was a lie.
No, it wasn't a lie. That was not a lie. Wait.
Yeah. If I said I didn't say something and I said it, that's not a lie?
He didn't say nasty woman. He said, I didn't know she was nasty. That's different from saying I didn't know she was a nasty woman. Okay. I didn't know that she was being nasty like that.
Oh, no, that's okay.
So that's different from, that's not a lie. And you admit that you don't even care about it. So,
and that's the part that's so scary, is because there was no reason to lie.
Because he didn't lie.
Meghan Markle was a nasty woman.
She is a nasty woman.
Right. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no reason to lie about it.
Right. But he didn't lie.
Okay, that's
but
my point.
I just proved to you that he didn't lie.
Okay, but
so can you give me a real example?
Example number 2.
Okay.
I've seen him.
No, it would be example number 1, because your first example is not an example.
Example number 1, then.
All right.
I've seen a reporter ask him about the concrete wall, and she said, "Well, you said something about a concrete wall. You were talking about a concrete wall, and now you're going to build a steel wall." He said, "I didn't say that."
Yeah, I don't remember him saying. I don't remember him saying concrete.
Concrete wall. Concrete wall.
I never heard concrete wall. Hey, Russ.
Wait.
You heard him say concrete wall? I never heard that.
Well, I did, and it's on video.
All right.
It's not fake news. I saw it. I saw the press conference.
Yeah, I don't remember hearing him say that. So
lie.
Whatever. Who cares? Okay. So that's another non-issue, right?
No, it's not another non-issue.
Why? You want the wall to be concrete?
I could care less. That's not
then
the
it's
point.
not a real issue. You're lying. You don't care.
If he would have said,
you're the lying.
Well,
I just caught you lying.
I'm not.
Yeah, because you said it's an issue, but then you don't care about what the wall is. You don't care whether the wall is steel or concrete.
I don't care what the wall is.
So then it's a non-issue.
He lied about it.
No, I don't know that he lied about it. I don't buy what you're saying, or the reporter.
You don't know it.
Because generally he was promoting a wall. He didn't say concrete wall.
Concrete
no,
wall.
I never heard it. Wrong. He may have slipped and said concrete at one point. And so what? It's really truly irrelevant. So all these picky so-called lies that they talk about are piddly little details that intellectuals like to pretend to get caught up in, when in reality they don't want a wall, which we need, which the illegals need too. And so they're the ones lying. And you're a liar too.
Is it a lie?
You love lies because you hate the president.
You don't know me.
Yeah, I do. I know you quite well.
Is it a lie? If I said I never said that, and you said it all through
you didn't.
Campaign.
No, his whole campaign was a wall. You see, now you're lying. You're the liar.
I'm not lying.
Yes, you are lying,
how
because
how am I lying?
all throughout his campaign he said we need a wall. He didn't say concrete wall.
He said.
He may have said it once or twice. Who knows? I don't know, and I don't care. That's a stupid point.
So you don't care that he lied?
No, I don't care that. I don't care that liars like you. I don't care that liars like you accuse the president of lying, because you're a filthy liar. You're just like CNN.
The next example.
No, you don't. You have no examples. You gave 2 fake examples.
The next
strike 3 coming up.
The next example. Are you going to listen?
Yeah, strike 3 coming up. You have two strikes, right?
When he kept saying, the next example is when he kept on saying his father was born in Germany, when his father was born in the Bronx.
I don't know. That was is really irrelevant
Again,
stuff, right?
No reason to lie.
All right.
There's
Thanks,
no
Russ.
reason to lie about that. So
Yeah.
why would you?
Because you love lies.
So now you just gonna attack me personally.
No,
instead of
you're attacking
dealing
Trump
with what
personally,
I'm
and you're
talking about.
you're attacking Trump personally on stupid stuff. I can't think of more petty examples of so-called lies than the three fake examples that you just gave me.
They're not fake.
Yeah, they're fake.
They're not fake.
You can say one of them may not be fake, because I don't know about the father thing. I don't know, and I don't care.
So you're all knowing, like just because you don't know.
I just
that
told you
it's
I don't
not
know,
real?
and I don't care.
Okay, well that's you personally. I just wanted to
Yeah,
ask
because you don't really care about lies. Otherwise, you would have voted for Trump and not for Hillary.
Really.
Yes, really. You voted for Hillary.
So you're
And then you still don't like Trump. Trump tells the truth about actual things that matter, like we need a wall.
Does he now?
Like
Does
what
he?
about the alt left? Like these Democrat congresswomen of color hate America. Like we need to stand and honor our troops and our military and our flag. We need to be united. He told the truth about
Did he serve
everything.
in the military?
Huh?
Did he serve in the military?
Who cares?
See what I'm saying? It's your opinion is the only opinion that counts. That's
Because
the way
you're
you
bringing
act.
up a
That's the way
separate
you
issue.
see
I
things.
told you that he's telling the
Did he
truth.
serve in the military? No, because
All right, I'm getting tired of him. Very lame. All these people that accuse him of lying are liars themselves. New York Times, Washington Post, CNN. All they do is promote this lie of racism and victimhood and attack whites. And the New York Times did a hit piece on a congressman from Iowa, the white man. What was his name again? Steve King, Congressman Steve King out of Iowa, acting like he's white supremacist, so-called, for telling the truth, the plain truth, that we need more white babies. We need babies in general. Western civilization is something to preserve, not destroy by mass immigration. And we need to not be encouraging and paying for birth control, because birth control and abortions, by the way, paid for by Obamacare. Because all that stuff is an attack on family values, on families, it's basically encouraging total degeneracy. And he was right about that stuff. But they want to say, oh, those are just because white nationalists also care about those things, and they happen to be right about those things too. All of a sudden, no, he's a white nationalist. We need to condemn him for being the one person who's speaking sanity. So crazy. Let me get to some more of this stuff. These people, Rashida Tlaib, it's really ridiculous to think that they are getting into office, and it just shows you how dumb the electorate has become. They've become really corrupt, really fake, all about the hookup. And when I say all about the hookup, I think back to my times growing up with friends and seeing how like many, if not most, Hispanics are about what's right as opposed to what can I get. They just take advantage, and that's a whole cultural issue going on with the Hispanic countries south of the border. And it's gotten up into here, and it's infecting the culture here. There's a corrupt thing of what can I get as opposed to what's right. And whites tend to be more for what's right, and as opposed to cheating the system. And even the ones that are suffering a bit, they don't. It's harder to find ones that are willing to cheat the system. Yes, people of all races do end up cheating, but on the whole, you have to appreciate the law, following what's right, and not encourage this ill-gotten gain of illegal immigration and taking advantage of this spoiling system that we have of just, like I said, ill-gotten gain. Jesus, out of Houston, first-time caller. How are you doing, Jesus?
Hey, what's going on, bro?
You're coming in very muffled.
Yes, can you hear me?
No. Come closer to your phone.
Yes, can you hear me?
All right. Yeah, that's better. Jeez.
All right. What's going on?
You know what? You're sounding terrible. Jesus. He has an interesting question for me. Why are you protecting Trump so much? I'm defending him against the false attacks by false people. Phony people like Russ from Hampton, Virginia. So, real quick, let me just double check the super chats and stuff. Sion Desta. James, the white version of Jesse. Without glasses, James looks like Scotty, my ex-white boyfriend. Wow, thank you. Interesting. And shout out to D Live. Thank you, Jimmy DM, Noah's Ark, Kansas, Ridge Tech, Army Ann, CLC, Obadiah, and Tiffany for JLP. Thank you guys for migrating from Facebook to D Live. Let me check on Jesus. Jesus, how are you doing?
Hey, buddy. How you doing?
Way better. What'd you do with your phone?
Oh, I just raised up my volume.
Yeah, right. All right. Anyways, you're sounding a lot better. I appreciate you fixing your phone.
Yeah, well, you could call me Jesus.
I'm not going to do that, but yeah. I would call you Jesus.
Well, that's okay.
Is that your real? What's your real name?
Jesus.
Okay. I'll call you Jesus.
Okay, bro. What's your name?
James.
Okay. I'll call you Hector.
Goodbye. You blew his chance, man. You can like be real with me. You got to cut me some slack if your real name is really Jesus, and I take it with a grain of salt and call you Jesus. Then you got to actually like respect. You can call me Hector. I don't mind. I'll take it as a compliment. One of my best employees, his name was Hector. He was an overstayed visa, illegal alien. Actually, I don't know if his real name was Hector or Hugo or what, because these people, they get their I-9s. He had his I-9, and I don't know if he got it from MacArthur Park or if he got it legitimately. Got his visa legitimately, overstayed it, went home to Mexico, came back, pretended to be stupid, put on his stupid face. When they talked to him in English, he would act like he didn't understand a word that they were saying, just like look straight. They're like, oh, this guy must just be, I think I've told this story before, this guy must just be pretending, no, not pretending, going on vacation. And no, he was coming up here to work and take advantage. And he was like the best worker out of all the people. But even he was falling for the hookups, the ill-gotten gain, taking advantage of wrong. And it is widespread. He was a nice people. He was like, some of those are nice people. But he had even participated in, selling drugs at one point. I think he quit that. But there's a whole lot of mess going on that we have to raise our standards back to what's right, as opposed to, other people doing it too, you can get away with it. All right, guys. Thank you to D Live. Thank you to Twitch and Mixer. Thank you, guys. And, of course, YouTube. I'll see you at church in 1 hour with Jesse Lee Peterson, rebuildingtheman.com/church. Subscribe to Bond Rebuilding the Man on YouTube. Like it on Facebook. We do stream live church on Facebook. So make a Facebook account and join it and like the Bond Rebuilding the Man Facebook page, as well as the Jesse Lee Peterson Show one, and the Fallen State, and Jesse Lee Peterson, and the Hake Report. All right, guys. Take care.